Fly News viewers. Today we are here at the Indian Embassy located here in Bangkok, Thailand. We are here to celebrate the 75th Republic Day of India. So before we move inside and see how the celebration is going through, I'd like to give a brief information about why the Republic Day is celebrated. India celebrates its Independence Day in August 15, where it gained its freedom from the British rule. And now we are celebrating the Republic Day on 26 January because after gaining independence from the British regime, they drafted a constitution which was promulgated and passed on the 26th of January. On this day, India was declared as an independent sovereign nation, and that is the reason why we are celebrating the Republic Day. Different embassies around the world, as well as in India, this day is widely celebrated by the ambassador launching different initiatives to develop India. And in India itself, it is practiced with very huge parades and program as well. So this day is very important in life of all the Indians who have received freedom and independence from the British rule. So let us all go inside and see what this beautiful day has to offer and how different kind of activities are being done by the Indian Embassy here in Thailand.
देश से है प्यार तो हर पल ये कहना चाहिए मैं रहूं या ना रहूं भारत ये रहना चाहिए देश से है प्यार तो हर पल ये कहना चाहिए मैं रहूं या ना रहूं भारत ये रहना चाहिए सिलसिला ये बात मेरे यूं ही चलना चाहिए मैं रहूं या ना रहूं भारत ये रहना चाहिए
Good morning everyone present here. Namaste, Sawadee-kha. On behalf of Embassy of India, I welcome you all to the celebration of 74th Republic Day of India.
Good morning and Sawadee-kha. As is customary, I have the privilege of reading out the message of the President of India, which he delivered on the eve of our Republic Day. Dear fellow citizens, Namaskar. On the eve of the 74th Republic Day, I extend my heartiest greetings to every Indian at home and abroad. We will now enter the 75th year as a republic. From the day the Constitution came into effect to the present day, it It has been an amazing journey that has inspired many other nations. Every citizen has reason to be proud of the Indian story. When we celebrate the Republic Day, we celebrate what we have achieved together as a nation. India is, of course, home to one of the oldest living civilizations. India is called the mother of democracy. As a modern republic, however, we are young. In the early years of independence, we faced countless challenges and adversities. Very high levels of poverty and illiteracy were just two of the many ill effects of the long foreign rule. Yet, the spirit of India was undeterred. With hope and confidence, we began an experiment unique in the history of mankind. Such a vast and diverse multitude of people coming together as one nation remains unprecedented. We did so with a belief that we are, after all, one, that we are all Indians. We have succeeded as a democratic republic because so many creeds and so many languages have not divided us. They have only united us. That is the essence of India. That essence was at the heart of the Constitution, which has withstood the test of time. The Constitution that started governing the life of the Republic was the outcome of the freedom struggle. The national movement, led by Mahatma Gandhi, was as much about winning independence as about rediscovering our own ideals. Those decades of struggle and sacrifice helped us win freedom, not only from colonial rule, but also from the imposed values and narrow worldviews. Revolutionaries and reformers joined hand with visionaries and idealists to help us learn about our age-old values of peace, brotherhood, and equality. Those who shaped the modern Indian mind also welcomed progressive ideas from abroad. Following the Vedic advice, Ano Bhadra, Kritvo Yantu Vishwata, meaning, let noble thoughts come to us from all directions. A long and profound thought process culminated in our Constitution. Our founding document is inspired by the humanistic philosophy of the oldest living civilization in the world, as well as new ideas that emerged in more recent history. The nation will always remain grateful to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who headed the drafting committee of the Constitution and thus had a critical part in giving it the final shape. On this day, we should also remember the role of jurist B.N. Rao, who had prepared the initial draft, and other experts and officers who helped in making the Constitution. We are proud of the fact that the members of that assembly represented all regions and communities of India, and that they included 15 women too. Their vision, as enshrined in the Constitution, has been continuously guiding our republic. During this period, India has been transformed from a largely poor and illiterate nation into a confident nation marching on the world stage. This would not have been possible but for the collective wisdom of the Constitution makers guiding our path. While Baba Sahib Ambedkar and others gave us a map and a moral framework, the task of walking that path remains our responsibility. We have largely remained true to their expectations, and yet we realize that much remains to be done to realize Gandhiji's ideal of Sarvodaya, the upliftment of all. Yet, the progress we have made on all fronts is encouraging. Dear fellow citizens, our mission of Sarvodaya, the most encouraging has been, in our mission of Sarvodaya, the most encouraging has been the progress made on the economic front. Last year, India became the 5th largest economy in the world. It needs to be underlined that this achievement comes against the backdrop of high economic uncertainties around the world. The pandemic has entered the 4th year, affecting economic growth in most parts of the world. In its initial phase, COVID-19 also hurt India's economy badly. Yet, guided by our able leadership and driven by our resilience, we soon came out of the downturn and resumed the growth saga. Most sectors of the economy have shaken off the pandemic effect. India has been among the fastest growing major economies. This has been made possible by timely and proactive interventions from the government. The Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative in particular has evoked great response among people at large. There have also been sector-specific incentive schemes. It is a matter of great satisfaction that those on the margins have also been included in the schemes and programs, and they have been helped in tiding over difficulties. By implementing the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, announced in March 2020, the government ensured food security for poor families at a time when the country was facing economic disruption in the wake of the unprecedented outbreak of COVID-19. Because of this help, no one had to go hungry. Keeping the welfare of poor families paramount, the duration of this scheme was extended successively, benefiting about 81 crore fellow citizens. Further extending this assistance, the government has announced that even during the year 2023, the beneficiaries will get their monthly ration free of cost. With this historic move, the government has undertaken the responsibility of caring for the weaker sections while also enabling them to benefit from economic development. With the economy on a sound footing, we have been able to begin and carry forward a series of praiseworthy initiatives. The ultimate goal is to create an environment in which all citizens can, individually and collectively, realize their true potential and prosper. As education builds the right foundation for this purpose, the National Education Policy has introduced ambitious changes. It rightly addresses the twofold aims of education as an instrument of economic and social empowerment and as a means to explore truth. The policy makes our civilizational lessons relevant for contemporary life, while also preparing the learner for the 21st century challenges. The National Education Policy appreciates the role of technology in expanding and deepening the learning process. As we have come to realize since the early days of COVID-19, technology offers lifelong changing possibilities. The Digital India mission is striving to make information and communication technology inclusive by bridging the rural-urban divide. More and more people in far-flung places have been reaping the benefits of the internet and are receiving a variety of services provided by the government as the infrastructure expands. We have reasons to be proud of our achievements in the domain of science and technology. As long-pending reforms in this sector are underway, private enterprises are now invited to join the quest. The Gaganyaan program to carry Indian astronauts into the space is under progress. This will be India's maiden human space flight. Yet, even as we reach out to the stars, we keep our feet on the ground. India's Mars mission was powered by a team of extraordinary women, and our sisters and daughters are not far behind in other areas too. Women's empowerment and gender equality are no longer mere slogans, as we have made great progress towards these ideals in recent years. With people's participation in Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao campaign, women's representation has been rising in every sphere of activity. During my visit to various states, educational institutions, and while meeting delegations of various professionals, I am amazed by the confidence of young women. I have no doubt in my mind that they are the ones who will do most to shape tomorrow's India. What miracles cannot be achieved if this half of the population is encouraged to contribute to nation building to the best of their ability? The same vision of empowerment guides the government's approach to the marginalized communities including the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes. In fact, the aim is not only to remove hurdles and help them in development, but also to learn from them. Tribal communities in particular have rich lessons to offer in many areas, ranging from protecting the environment to making the society more cohesive. Dear fellow citizens, as a result of a series of initiatives in recent years to transform all aspects of governance and unleash creative energies of people, the world has started to look at India with a new sense of respect. Our interventions in various world forums have started making a positive difference. The respect that India has earned on the world stage has resulted in new opportunities as well as responsibilities. This year, as you know, India holds the presidency of the Group of 20 Nations. With our motto of universal brotherhood, we stand for peace and prosperity of all. Thus, the G20 presidency is an opportunity to promote democracy and multilateralism and the right forum for shaping a better world and a better future. Under India's leadership, I am sure G20 will be able to further enhance its efforts to build a more equitable and sustainable world order. As G20 represents about 2/3 of the world population and around 85% of global GDP, it is an ideal forum to discuss and find solutions for global challenges. To my mind, global warming and climate change are the most pressing among them. Global temperatures are rising and incidents of extreme weather are increasing. We are faced with the dilemma to lift more and more people out of poverty. We need economic growth, but that growth also comes from fossil fuel. Unfortunately, the poor bear the brunt of global warming more than others. Developing and popularizing alternative sources of energy is one of the solutions. India has taken a commendable lead in this direction by giving a policy push to solar energy and electric vehicles. At the global level, however, emerging economies need a helping hand from advanced nations in the form of technology transfer and financial support. To maintain the balance between development and environment, we have to look at the ancient traditions with a new perspective. We need to reconsider our basic priorities. The scientific aspect of traditional life values have to be understood. We must, once again, rekindle that respect for nature and humility before the vast universe. Let me state here that Mahatma Gandhi was a true prophet of our times, as he foresaw the calamities of indiscriminate industrialization and cautioned the world to mend its ways. We need to modify our lifestyle if we want our children to live happily on this fragile planet. One of the changes suggested pertains to food. I am happy to note that the United Nations accepted a suggestion from India and declared 2023 as the International Year of Millets. Millets were essential ingredients of our diet, and they are making a comeback among sections of society. Coarse grains like millets are eco-friendly as they require less water to grow, and yet they provide high levels of nutrition. If more and more people turn to millets, it will help conserve ecology and also improve health. One more year has gone by for the Republic, and another year commences. It has been a time of unprecedented change. With the outbreak of the pandemic, the world had changed within a matter of days. During these 3 years, whenever we have felt that we have finally put the virus behind, it raises its ugly head. However, there is no need to panic because we have learned in this period that our leadership, our scientists and doctors, our administrators and corona warriors will make every possible effort to meet any situation. At the same time, each of us has also learned to not let our guard down and remain alert. Dear fellow citizens, generations of people working in different fields deserve praise for their invaluable contribution in the development story of our republic. I commend the roles of farmers, workers, scientists, and engineers whose combined strength enables our country to live up to the spirit of Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, Jai Anusandhan. I appreciate every citizen who contributes to the nation's progress. I also convey my greetings to our diaspora, the great ambassadors of India's culture and civilization. On the occasion of Republic Day, I convey my special appreciation to our Jawans who guard our borders and are ready to make any sacrifice for the country. I also express my appreciation for all the brave soldiers of paramilitary forces and police forces who provide internal security to their fellow citizens. I salute all the brave hearts of our armed forces, paramilitary forces, and police forces who laid down their lives in the line of duty. I convey my blessings to all the dear children for their bright future. Once again, I extend my best wishes to all of you on this Republic Day. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. So that was the President's speech, and let me share a few thoughts which I was reflecting on while I was reading this speech and looking at what was happening in India in terms of, the Republic Day celebrations, the 74th Republic Day celebrations. First of all, to thank everyone who's here today. It's a working day, and your presence here is very heartening. Just shows your love and affection and devotion to the motherland, for which all of us are grateful to you. Just wanted to report to you that the state of our republic is very strong. India has been developing rapidly, inclusively, and also trying to be sustainable. I'm happy also to report that in the last few years, India's image globally, whether it's in global, forums of global government like the United Nations, where we were members of the UN Security Council for the last 2 years, or our presidency of the G20, which started in December this year and will go on till November 2023, or the presidency of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, etc., are a reflection of our emergence as a pole in global geopolitics and geoeconomics. The world is looking at us because the Indian economy and Indian diplomacy, Indian politics will be shaping the 21st century. And all of us, hopefully, will be a part of that great story. I keep telling friends here in Thailand and in other parts of the world that I have served in, that what is happening in our country, in my view, is perhaps the greatest experiment in human history. We haven't seen such a large sea of humanity. I mean, we are 1.4 billion people, and mired in every fault line you can think of. I don't know, about 121 languages, 3,000 dialects, 7 to 8 great religions of the world, ethnicity, the economic diversity. It's a microcosm, or I would say a macrocosm of human existence on the planet. And despite all these diversities, and I'll include the diversity, 1 billion people in a democratic framework where 900 million people are registered to vote. And every 5 years, we come and vote, and 2.5 hours time we call our elections. It's no mean achievement, I can assure you. This country is moving ahead without being a burden on anyone. In fact, helping the rest of the planet in their own quest for social and economic development. I can tell you that India's aid program, and we don't call it aid because we find aid to be a patronizing word. We call it development partnership. Almost $100 billion in the cumulative assistance India has provided to various countries in various parts of the world, in Africa, Latin America, Asia, etc. So everything we have managed to achieve after 200, 300 years of colonial rule in the last 74 years It's highly commendable, I keep mentioning, there was a mention in the president's speech about the Gaganyaan. If you remember Mangalyaan, I keep telling students here in universities in Thailand that Mangalyaan reached the Mars in first shot. Not even the Americans managed to do that. And it cost us $74 million, which was less than the cost of a film called The Martian, which was made that year by Hollywood. So it just shows the strength of our science and technology. Software, we are an IT superpower now. Everyone acknowledges that. I mean, it's a stereotype at times, because I remember walking around in the United States, people assumed that I was either a IT engineer or a doctor. It was a stereotype, but I like that stereotype. I'm not holding any, holding it against anyone. Point I'm trying to make is that, India is emerging. Nobody is perfect, by the way. We have our flaws, we have our weaknesses, but we are doing something about it. And that's the big thing, that we are not complaining and blaming the rest of the world for our problems. We acknowledge our problems and we address them, and we have done that. And we don't go around asking for assistance or blaming, X country or Y country or climate change or space for having troubled us. And at the same time, we share our prosperity, a growing prosperity, with others, because it's a part of our ethos. There are challenges of poverty, illiteracy. 15% of our population is still below poverty line, and that translates into a large number of 150 million people. But we have uplifted about 500 million people out of poverty line. And some of the remarkable things which have happened in India, whether it's the Jan Dhan Yojana, wherein 400 million people, have now have a bank account in the last 7 years, about financial inclusion, because it impacts social development. 2.2 billion doses of vaccines, COVID vaccines. I mean, I've seen countries struggle, smaller countries, and I'm not being dismissive about their challenges, but what I'm saying is to think of it, in a year's time, we managed to vaccinate we managed to give 2.2 billion doses of vaccine in the remotest parts of the country. So when Indians get together, they can do a lot. Now, coming to India, Thailand, I'll try and finish off. I don't want to, impose myself too much. I've been here for 3 months. It's been a fantastic journey for me and my family here. In the last month and a half, I've met the Prime Minister of Thailand. I've met the Deputy Prime Minister. I've met several Deputy Prime Ministers, in fact. Leaders of opposition parties, captains of industry here. The amount of respect, the amount of expectation out of India and the Indian people here, especially the Indo-Thai people who come and made this beautiful country their home, it is tremendous. It's tremendous. And with that respect and expectation comes a lot of responsibility on us. When I say us, I mean the embassy and all of us who are sitting here, of how to contribute in our own way to building a very strong India-Thailand relationship. Whether we are in culture, whether we are in politics, whether we are in social work. I have always maintained, especially for the diaspora. And when I say the diaspora, I am keeping the Indian passport holders separately, although we don't differentiate between passports, etc. It doesn't matter to us. We are all Indians, somewhere in the heart. But purely for legal purposes, I'm saying those Thai citizens who are of Indian origin, I want to salute them, because I think it's their hard work and their, profile in this country, which has contributed in a very big way in lifting up our profile in this country. Also, there are no divided loyalties. And I keep telling even the Indian passport holders, the Indian companies here, that when you are in Thailand, let's try and contribute to this society. Let's be good citizens of this country. Some of us are temporary citizens here or residents here, but let's give back. Give back to this country which has given us so much, And when we do that, it's a huge contribution. I think that will be the foundational or the defining contribution we can make to building a closer India-Thailand relations, which go back millennia. I mean, the commonalities of our heritage, our traditions are remarkable. I can go on and on, but I'll stop there. And once again, thank you all for coming here, and hope we can continue celebrating our Republic and share our achievements with the rest of the world and get together to solve the challenges we confront, whether here in Bangkok or Thailand or back home in India, together, and keep a channel of communication open with each other. So thank you once again, and wish you all a very happy Republic Day, and Jai Hind.
थैंक यू सो मच सर. आपका बहुत बहुत आभार. थाईलैंड में निवास करने वाले भारतीय समुदाय और भारत के मित्रों तक महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी के राष्ट्र के नाम संदेश संबोधन को पहुंचाने के लिए, एंड फॉर ऑब्वियसली योर सच इंफॉर्मेटिव एंड एनर्जेटिक स्पीच. इस तिरंगे को देखकर कुछ पंक्तियां याद आई जो मैं कहना चाहूंगी. रंग केसरिया मस्तक सजा, रंग केसरिया मस्तक सजा, श्वेत हृदय के मध्य अशोक चक्र विराजे, श्वेत हृदय के मध्य अशोक चक्र विराजे, हरित रंग आंचल में सोहत, हरित रंग आंचल में सोहत, शोभा बरन ना जावे. अब समय है आज की कल्चरल परफॉर्मेंसेस का. सबसे पहले मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी मिस्टर एसपी सिंह एंड ग्रुप को, जो आज के इस शुभ अवसर पर हमारे नेशनल सॉन्ग को हम सभी के आगे प्रस्तुत करेंगे. प्लीज वेलकम एसपी सिंह एंड ग्रुप.
भारत वंदे मातरम, जय भारत वंदे मातरम, जय भारत वंदे मातरम, जय भारत वंदे मातरम. भारत वंदे मातरम, जय भारत वंदे मातरम, भारत वंदे मातरम, जय भारत वंदे मातरम. रुक ना पाए तूफानों से सबके आगे बड़े कदम, जीवन पुष्प चढ़ाने निकले माता के चरणों में हम. भारत वंदे मातरम, जय भारत वंदे मातरम. देश से है प्यार तो हर पल ये कहना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए. देश से है प्यार तो हर पल ये कहना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए. सिलसिला ये बात मेरे यूं ही चलना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए. मेरी नस नस तार कर दो और बना दो एक सितार राग भारत मुझ पे छेड़ो झनझनाओ बार बार देश से प्रेम आँखों से झलकना चाहिए मैं रहूं या ना रहूं भारत ये रहना चाहिए
We have witnessed a very beautiful program hosted by the Indian Embassy. Now, following this event, I would like to take a very small interview of our newly appointed ambassador of India to Thailand. His name is Mr. Nagesh Singh. He is a very high-ranking officer who comes from a very influential family background. Besides that, he is a very versatile individual as well. He has served in many places around the world and has also served as the director to Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iran. Before coming here, he was also appointed as the youngest Consul General of India to Atlanta, USA. So let us all hear what our ambassador has to say on Republic Day.
It's exhilarating, celebrating our Republic Day in a friendly country with which we have such deep civilizational and cultural linkages, and that too amongst a whole house full of friends and well-wishers of India. It's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. One gets a bit nostalgic also because one remembers what's happening in India today. We have a grand parade in the Central Vista in the heart of New Delhi. But what you saw here today, what I saw here today, so many people coming down, despite this being a working day and celebrating the Republic Day with us. It's a very uplifting, moment for me. Shows the love and affection people have for the motherland. And also, they are the connect. I mean, the Indo-Thai, a connect between India and Thailand. So on the whole, a great, great feeling. My message to you is that India and Thailand, as I keep saying ad nauseum, are civilizational neighbors. We have linkages which go beyond trade, investment, tourism. They are fundamental linkages going back in history of faith, shared traditions, and by faith I mean Buddhism and Hinduism, etc. So we are related to each other, and I would want that more and more Thai people should travel to India and get rid of some of the doubts they have about the country or what they think is happening in India. And I can assure them two things. One is that you'll find yourself at home. You'll realize that you're not far away from Thailand. And you'll also marvel at the variety, the diversity of our country, which is remarkable because within that unparalleled diversity, there is a unity. And what I want to say, the embassy is here to facilitate any doubts you have anything we can do to facilitate your travel to India, because I believe that India-Thailand friendship is not just good for our two people, but it's good for the region as a whole, and even beyond the region. So long live India-Thailand friendship.
It was a very informative session with the ambassador as well. I hope that all of our Indo-Thainese viewers enjoyed this program very thoroughly, and we will definitely be coming up with more programs. However, we'll be taking a leave over here. I'd like to wish all the Indians everywhere around the world, on behalf of Indo-Thainese, a happy Republic Day to you, and we'll be coming up with more episodes. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Sanjana Timsina signing off.
देश से है प्यार तो हर पल ये कहना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए। देश से है प्यार तो हर पल ये कहना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए।